Good morning, my dear student. Today we'll start our first chapter from history side, that is the rise of nationalism in Europe. So in your book, first chapter, first page, you can see one picture is there. So this picture is prepared by Frederic Sorel in 1848. He was a French artist. He prepared a series of 4 prints visualizing his dream of the world made up of democratic and social republic. The first print in figure first, you can see the series shown the people of Europe and America, men and women of all ages and social classes, and they are marching in a long train and offering homage to the Statue of Liberty as they pass by it. As you would recall, artists of the time of the French Revolutionary personified liberty as a female figure. Here you can recognize the torch of enlightenment she bears in one hand and the charter of the right of the man in another hand. In Sarajevo, utopian vision, you know the meaning of utopian. Utopian, it means a vision of society that is so ideal, that is unlikely to actually exist. It means we can say that this is only the imagination society. It is not exist. So, in Sorel's utopian vision, the people of the world are grouped as distinct nations identified through their flags and national custom, leading the procession with the Statue of Liberty. So, in this chapter, we'll deal with many of the issues visualized by Sorel in figure 1. During the 19th century, nationalism emerged as the force which brought about sweeping changes in the political and mental world of the Europe. This chapter will look at the diverse process through which nation state and nationalism came into being in 19th century Europe. Here you can see that in your chapter the new words are there. And now we'll start the first part, that is the French Revolution and the idea of nation. This is the first part of this chapter. The first clear expression of nationalism came with the French Revolution in 1789. Friends, you know, as you would remember, was a full-fledged territorial state in 1789 under the rule of an absolute monarch. So from the very beginning, the French Revolutionary introduced various measures and practice that could create a sense of collective identity amongst the French people. It means in this way they have started a new French flag, the tricolor, and tricolor was chosen to replace the former royal standard. And the State General was elected by the body of active citizens and renamed the National Assembly. And in this way they just composed the new hymns and the oaths are taken and so things. And we can say that a centralized administration system was put in place and it formulated uniform law for all citizens within its territory. It means same law is applicable for all people. And internal custom duties and dues were abolished and a uniform system of weight and measurement was adopted. And in this way they have their common language, that is it means the French, as it was spoken and written in Paris. So this language become the common language of the nation. So when the news of the event in France reached the different cities of Europe, so the other people also they just want, so the other people like student and other member of educated middle class began setting up their Jacobin clubs. Their activities and campaigning prepared the way for the French armies which moved into the Holland, Belgium, Switzerland, etc. And with the outbreak of Revolutionary War, the French armies began to carry the idea of nationalism abroad. So through a return of monarchy, Napoleon had destroyed democracy in France, but in the administrative field, he had incorporated revolutionary principle in order to make the whole system more rational and efficient. So now we'll talk about the Civil Code of 1804. You can see in this page. So the Civil Code of 1804, it is called the Napoleonic Code. and it is established equality before the law and secured the right to property. This code was exported to region under French control. And in Switzerland, Italy and Germany, Napoleon simplified administration division, abolished the feudal system and free peasants from serfdom and manorial dues. So now we'll just go our second part, that is the making of nationalism in Europe. So you know that Germany, Italy and Switzerland were divided into kingdoms, duchies and cantons whose rulers had their autonomous territories. So in this way they have started the different things that will just continue it. First, that is the aristocracy and the new middle class. So socially and political, a landed aristocracy was dominant class on the continent. The members of this class were united by common way of life that cut across regional division. And industrialization began in England in the second half of the 18th century, but in France and part of the German states it occurred only during in 19th century. And in its wake, new social groups came into being, a working class population and middle classes made up of industrialists, businessmen, professionalism. So now one question is also in front of us, that is, what did liberal nationalism stand for? So here we discuss that the term liberalism derives from the Latin root liber, meaning free. So for the new middle classes, liberalism stood for freedom for the individual and equality of all before the law. Since the French Revolution, liberalism had stood for the end of autocracy and clerical privilege, a constitutional and representative government through parliament. And the next topic, here we'll see a new conservatism after 1815. So conservative you know that are narrow-minded. So conservatives believe that established traditional institution of state and society like the monarch, the church, social hierarchies, property and the family should be preserved. So most conservatives, however, did not propose a return of the society of pre-revolutionary days. Rather, they realized that modernism could be in fact extended traditional institution like the monarchy. And now we'll talk about the, here you can see the picture also. Now we'll talk about the revolutionaries. So to be revolutionary at this time meant a commitment to oppose monarchical form that had been established after the Vienna Congress and to fight for liberty and freedom. And the Italian revolutionary became a member of the secret society and he was sent into exile in 1831 for attempting the revolution in Liguria. He founded two underground society, and so we can say that so Italy had to be formed into a single united republic within a wider alliance of nation.